Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. So today we are going to do a review and have some replay of Oni. It is a Tier 7 behemoth. It is, it's probably one of my more favorite tanks to play, just because I love the derp gun. That is one of my favorite guns on any tank. Even on the E100, I like shooting HE out of the 15 centimeter. I think that's what it is on that. I don't know. I've been playing the game for frickin' forever, and I always forget the calibers of the guns. But anyways, so let's go over this real quick. Now, on the gun, I'm going to give you just the top two guns, just a little bit of an idea. I always recommend going with the derp gun, just due to the fact that, you'll hear me say it again probably, a couple times actually, when you're not top tier, even, like this was a tier 9 match, you can still do damage with that derp gun, whereas the 10 millimeter or 10 centimeter, your penetration is 190 standard, 215 premium, 53 HE, and good luck trying to pen a tier 9 in the front, unless you get really lucky, and you're really close range, where 215 is going to go through it, because the distance at 215 is going to be down at 190, and that 190 is going to be down at 170. So you're going to have a lot of trouble actually penetrating. Matter of fact, the Oni on the enemy team, I think it was the Oni, shoots me, and he's got this gun on there, and he bounces. I believe he bounces or knocks my track off or something. Anyways, I always prefer the derp guns, just due to the fact that you have the capability of really making a difference with your team with the derp gun, because of the fact that you can still penetrate, or if something's really low on health, let's even it won't see an IS-7, but per se, an IS-7 were in the match, and he was hauled down. With this gun, you can still shoot him in the turret, and you're still going to do damage, and there's still a good chance you could knock him out. You might only do 150 damage, but if that's all he's got for health, you just took him out. Like I said, you won't see a IS-7, obviously, but I'm just using that for for instance. But yeah, for this gun, the rate of fire is 2.6 rounds a minute. Not very impressive. Standard pen is AP, and it's 121. Pretty sad. If you're top tier, you can make it work. Your premium shell is heat, which I hate heat, but it does bump you up to 150. And again, if you're top tier and you hit something with a heat shell, more than likely you will go through it and do 700 average damage. But the magic maker on this gun, what I like, is the HE shell. You get 75 pen, 910 average damage. We'll skip the other numbers because it's different from, well, I guess we shouldn't. Stock, your average damage per minute is 1826. Dispersion sucks, 0.56. Aim time sucks at 3.5. Yeah, so the gun, but that goes even with any three of the guns you can put on here. They all have long load times, all have bad dispersion. Just the derp gun is a little worse than the others. My rate of fire is 3.9 rounds a minute, so basically 3 shots. My reload is 19.41 a second, so it does have a very lengthy load time. So if you start getting surrounded, you're in trouble. So if you are in a situation where you see multiple tanks coming your way, and it's you and one, maybe 2 tanks, start backing up and get out of there, so that you have a chance of living, or you will die very quick. Turret traverse is slow at 19.2, and the hull traverse is 19.2 also. So yeah, it's very easy to get circle strafed. 2 quick things you got to watch out for is the gun depression is -10, but not in the front. Between these two little turrets, I think it's 8, but you get mainly all your gun depression off the sides. Just aim off which helps you in a way, because it reminds you to basically angle your front, but the only problem is then they have a very weak spot right here they can shoot, and right here they can shoot. So in a way, if somebody doesn't know those are weak spots, they'll be shooting your front end, and that will really help your armor out, unless they know about that weak spot and that weak spot. These two little turrets here, the armor on those are still, I believe those are still 200 millimeters thick. They're really thick. I'm not sure the exact numbers, but they are not weak spots. So a lot of times people will shoot at those and they're just going to waste their rounds because it's not easy to pen this in the front at all whatsoever. Gun depression, -10, which is awesome, and +20. Aim time on mine is still pretty bad at 2.99, and my dispersion is still pretty bad at 0.53. And that's with a 2 crew skill at 76%. My average damage per minute is 2164. It's pretty low because of obviously, well, not super low, but it is low due to the fact that you have such a long load time. The nice thing is you get 1,550 hit points. The armor on the hull in the front is 175, and the turret is 200. This is a very hard tank for lower tiers to pen pretty much anywhere except for the side. Remember, if you're shooting at this line right here is a side skirt. This whole thing is a one big side skirt, so do not waste HE or heat shells at this here because it'll hit that and do nothing. If you look in between the track here, you can see there's that space right there, so that's telling you that, yeah, it goes up a little bit actually. Can't see exactly how high, but I'm thinking it's just this, yeah, it's just probably this whole thing right here is just one big chunk of spaced armor. So if somebody shoots heat or HE at you, it's not going to probably do, well, HE might do a little bit of splash damage, but heat's just going to explode on the outside and do nothing. If they get up into this area and up, yeah, then you're starting to get in some trouble there. But the side is 70 on the hull and 150 on the turret. The turret is just a beast on this thing. The rear on this is still 150 on the hull and 150 on the turret. So even the back of this is still super thick. And they did just nerf all these not too many patches ago, especially the rear and some of the front area. I believe the hull on this was actually used to be thicker. And I think the turret used to be 200 all the way around, if I remember right. But anyways, it is heavy as heck at 100, well, go to 105.5 ton. Mine's at 100.53 tons. You do get a great engine at 1,200 horsepower. Your specific power weight is only 11.94. Top speed is 25 in forward, 10 in reverse. You can actually maintain that 25 pretty good too, and you'll see in the replay, even going up the hill, I still maintain a pretty good speed. Normally, like if I run a Moss Type 5, even a Type 5 Heavy, I would really contemplate going up the hill like I did with this, because this has, it just seems like it has a better speed going up hills, where with a Moss and a Type 5 or T95 going up a hill like that, it would take you a day and a half. Where are we at here? Oh yeah, your concealment is 2. Oh wait, 2.6. 2.06, so basically 2. Yeah, so a lot of times, if the map is something with bases that, you got one here, and you got one here that are close together, the match will start, and bling, bling, you're already spotted. So it sometimes can be a pain in the butt. My view range is 408, and my signal range is 587. I'm getting a bonus from situational awareness, recon skill, and I have vents on this also. I did go with gun rammer, gun lane drive, and vents. I went with vents. Obviously, it helped the overall stats of the tank, because a lot they are pretty bad with the gun handling on this. And obviously the gun rammer and gun lane drive, again, to help with the gun handling. I really highly recommend buying this tank. It is a lot of fun to play, especially if you got 2 or 3 people platooned up with these things. You can really, especially even if you're top tier and you got 3 of you guys platooned up in this. Oh yeah, I feel for the enemy team. It's just like bam, 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 and in whatever you're hitting is pretty much dead. Even if you're shooting at tier 9s in this, if you're platooned up and 3 of you hit the same tier 9, by the time all 3 of you shoot him, if you hit him even in a decently weak area, yeah, he's going to be limping out of there like as quick as possible because you are going to leave him with very few hit points. But, yeah. Anyways, if you want to hold on for a minute, I will have some gameplay and some post-game stats. So I'll be right back. Alright, so here we are in the Oni on Milanovka. Normally, if I'm in a bigger tank like this that's slower than all God's get out, I would tend to hang around this area over here. Not really probably get too far off the base just due to the fact that with the speed, it just seems so slow. It's, you know, you kind of want to stay near the base to help out your team. 54E1 just threw me an invite, so I took it. Like I said, I don't care what your stats are. I always try and team up with somebody if they send me an invite. But I decided to take this behemoth up the hill. And you can see top speed on this is 25 and forward, and we're already doing 25. Doing 20 to 25. And it just, for a super heaviest like this thing is, it just seems like it's got, I take a couple blind shots just for shits and giggles, like that tiger. He was spotted somewhere over there, and you can see how that round went way in the air. Ends up, I don't think, if I remember right, none of my blind shots actually hit anything, but it's always nice to have a little surprise and go, oh, I hit something. But yeah, that doesn't always happen. So anyway, as you can see, we're still staying at 24 and 25 going even up this hill. And like I said, normally I wouldn't go up a hill with like a Moss, T95. Even the Type 5 and Type 4 Heavy are really slow to the point where you don't really want to go up these hills with it because it just takes you a day and a half. But we're staying at a pretty good speed even going up a hill as big as this. Actually, I think we're like this second or third tank. Yeah, third tank up there. You know, and so we're basically out running the OHO, which is obviously the tier 9, 8. I think it's, yeah, because it's 7. That's the 8. Yeah, because the 9's Type 4. The KV-13 medium, IS. So they're probably stopping and shooting too. But still, we're actually maintaining about 20, 19, 18. So we're still staying about close to 20 kilometers an hour. And this is going up a hill. We're staying right up almost with that 50 toilet paper tank there. We're not catching them by any means. I know I think it was the T20 that I thought was still maybe on that corner over there. So I figure, take a blind shot, what the hell, you never know. I did have one shot bounce, so for all I know I might have hit something and it actually bounced. But I think I get tracked up here, and me and my fat fingers, I might have accidentally, I might even actually, well, no. I was going to say I might just bring all HE shells in this tank. That's all 99.9% of the time shoot out of this is HE shells. If you're top tier, you can get away with shooting some AP or heat rounds if it's thicker armored stuff. If your top tier AP is 120 pen, and some of the time it'll still be good enough to go through some of the other tanks. It seems like whenever I play World of Tanks, so no matter what I play, I'm always bottom tier. So we come up here, and we're up here with the tier 8s and 9s, and, what did we get hit with? Okay, so the Oni, let me pause it real quick. So I hit the Oni he hit me for 433, and he does have the derp gun, okay. I hit the Oni in the turret, though, for 270, and we bounced around from the T28. So he does have the derp gun. I thought he didn't. I saw during the gameplay, I saw the 400, and then I wasn't paying attention to the that area of stats, and I thought I'd been hit by the Oni, and it bounced. So the 50 toilet paper tank on the enemy team hits me with a premium round and bounces for 440, and I hit the Oni again for 227. Kind of see where did he hit me? Oh, it looks like, well, I got hit here in the turret, and on the turret, god dang it all, right here. So yeah, good luck going through the front of the turret on this. It's got 200 millimeters of frontal armor on that turret, and the premium round of the 50 TP, I think, is 245, but I also have it angled. And that's also, well, it's a little bit of spaced armor right here, not a whole lot, but I can't believe he didn't knock my gun out there. So if you see this go to heat shells or AP shells, it's because of my fat fingers. Because believe me, I did not mean to go over to those shells if I did. So we hit the T-28 for 358, and that's what I'm saying now. If that would have been an AP shell or even a heat shell from this gun, I wouldn't have gone through them. If I would have had the other gun, the 10 centimeter, I can almost guarantee I would not have penetrated that T-28. So up to 1277 in damage, and I think that might be all the damage I get. Yeah, because the shot I take into the T-28 here in a minute, I shoot him, and I think somebody else shoots him at the exact same time. Yeah, see, I shot. It looked like I killed him, but I did not kill him. The Centurion 2 did. Oh, and that's another thing I want to show you. If you ever want to ammo rack this thing, all you got to do is aim in this area right here. Anywhere in there. And same on this side. Anywhere in this area here. Basically, yeah, right in front of that ladder. Like right in this area if you want to pinpoint it. Just right in this plate area right here. Every time I've been hit there on either side, I get ammo racked. Well, so far, I have not seen myself bounce off anything, so I'm beginning to wonder if one of my shells actually... that doesn't look like it even hit. I'm beginning to think that one of my blind shots actually did hit something, but it just bounced, which an HE shell bouncing doesn't usually happen. This new headset, it's nice and tight, it's squeezing my brain to death. That's the problem I had with my yellow headset, is it was way too tight or loose, and if I leaned over, the thing would just go boop and fall off my head. So I do like this headset a lot more for comfortability, and it's sticking to my head without falling off all the time. The only problem is, now I got this, I'm going to adjust it so it's not so darn tight. There we go. It had it too tight before, my brain felt like it was not breathing. I was just using this thing for basically armor, because they still have a GW Panther, and I've only got 263 hit points, so I was afraid he was probably going to either go for me, or, well, even the Centurion, he's pretty low, but they usually go for somebody that's either real low to get the kill, or somebody that's low like I am to hopefully get a kill and hopefully get a good amount of damage. No such luck on getting a shot off the GW. But yeah, so yeah, we pretty much rolled over this team. It was a pretty pitiful team. We only lost 2 people, and obviously they lost 15. It looked like the GW Panther was trying to kill himself, but he wasn't too successful. I was just looking at the tank to see where I got hit. Oh yeah, see how the game. I knew I was going to do a review, so I wanted to show you how nice and high the gun goes up. It's so you don't have to worry about actually not being able to shoot above you. If you have to keep your tank aimed at, right at somebody, if you're trying to bounce their rounds, you can still get this gun to squeeze between these, but you still won't get the full 10 degrees of gun depression, because as these get closer together right here, you can't get this to set down all the way in that. So you lose a little bit. I think you only have 8 degrees of gun depression if you put it between these two, but you get your full 10 degrees if you aim just off the side of these. But anyways, that is all she wrote. So if you want to hold on for a minute, I will be back with some post-game stats for you. So hold on. Alrighty, so the Oni. This is the results of that match. Nothing spectacular. The nice thing about the Oni is it's got such a nice... It doesn't have a good power to weight... Well, let me rephrase that. It doesn't have a super power to weight ratio, but this thing, for the size of it, can climb a hill easier than some mediums. I mean, this thing I just normally wouldn't take a heavy like this up a hill like that, up towards the windmill, but it's got so much, excuse me, it's just got such a good engine that it's not like a speed demon, but that's why the power to weight ratio isn't the best. So it's like 11.5 or something. Well, what is it? Let's look. Yeah, 11, almost 12. It's just the simple fact that it's got a 1200 horsepower engine, and it's a 100.53 ton tank, but that engine is just good enough to really pump it up that hill, and you maintain your speed pretty good. Pretty impressive. I was kind of shocked that I've never done a replay or a review on this tank, so figured I'd go ahead and do one on this before the patch comes out tonight, because probably be kind of busy doing reviews on other tanks. I've got a replay on a Type 5 heavy match that I had. I'm going to throw that in here too, just give you a 2-for deal. 2 for the price of 1. On the Type 5 heavy match, it was a pretty good match. Didn't have a lot of help in the city, and I know a lot of people see those Type 5 heavy matches and they're like, oh, the thing's overpowered, anybody can do that. But the simple fact is, when you're taking on a side kind of by yourself, it doesn't make it quite so easy that just anybody can do it. And I don't mean I'm like some super pro player. What I mean as in, you really have to pick and choose your targets, look who you want to engage first, know when to back up, kind of more or less use common sense a little bit better so you just don't get keister raped, because like in that match, if I would have pushed forward a little more than where I did into the city, yeah, I would have been just killed. But anyways, in this match, it was a Master Badge Class 3. Oh my god, I'm so frickin' yawny tonight. And we hit the 50 toilet paper tank, the prototype there, finished him off for 422. Blocked one of his rounds for 440, and he got hit for 51 upon the spotting. The low got hit for, I think it was 3. Yeah, 3 upon the spotting. T-28 got hit for 147 upon a spotting and 7 upon us knocking off his track. Bounced one of his rounds for 400. Knocked out his track and hit him for 358. The Oni on the enemy team, we hit him 2 times for 497. Knocked out his commander, his radio operator, and damage upon a spotting him was 72. I think I might have bounced around from him. I don't think he had the derp gun on that. And just a bit of advice, guys, if you go up the Chinese line and you got the Oni, the Oho, the OI, all these tanks, go with the derp gun. Just for the simple fact, like, when I'm low tier, like this was a tier 9 match, I know with this gun, I'm still going to be able to do, it might only be, like, for instance, on the T-28, I only hit him for 358. But I'd rather hit him for 358 and do 358 worth of damage than hit him with a round that's just going to bounce. The other gun on this thing, well, you get 3 choices. I go with the derp. The 10 centimeter, the penetrations, if you're top tier, that's pretty good. 190 standard, 215 premium, and 53 for your HE. But if you're bottom tier, yeah, you're going to struggle big time going through any tier 9s with 215. I mean, that's really, right on that border of you're just going to bounce all day long. Unless you get some really good lower plate shots. And 190 in a tier 9 match, yeah, you can forget it. Especially if they're at any kind of range. And then obviously you get the stock gun that comes with it with 175 pen standard, 201 premium. So that's why I go with the derp, because the average damage on this with the HE, 75 pen, is 910. And if you hit something lightly armored like a, pretty much any kind of, tank destroyer that's, what am I thinking about here? They had one on the enemy team. RHM, Boris Waffenträger, anything lightly armored like that, you will just erase it. You might not completely one-shot it unless he's got some health already missing. But, yeah, a lot of times you will just erase tanks with that derp gun. Oh, and by the way, I've got a new headset. So if this sounds a little bit different, just let me know in the comments down below. I think I can adjust the microphone a little bit. Higher, lower, so on and so forth. So, anyways, we weren't top damage. We were 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th in damage. The enemy team was really sad. They had one person get over 1,000 damage, and that was their artillery. This Jagdtiger, my God, that's 981's like 2 shots. Yeah, 2 shots of damage. How he only did that little amount of damage means basically he stayed back at the cap and did nothing to help his team. Same with the 54E1. The low made it halfway up the hill. I mean, this is just pitiful results for a whole team to do that crappy. Yeah, our team did a whole lot better there. Now, we had 8 shots, 5 hit, 4 pen, so I bounced on something. I don't know if I accidentally changed rounds. I'm wondering if because I had it set for heat. I got hit, knocked my track off. I'm betting $2 to a donut that I accidentally started flinging heat or something, because, or I shot at least a heat round or something, because for this to bounce an HE shell, I can see maybe on the front of maybe like the T-28 it might have, if you hit him in the super right on that gun mantle or something, but I hit him in the side, so I don't know. All I can think of is I must have, oh yeah, I bet you I did, because I lost credits. Yeah, because I rarely ever shoot AP or heat out of this. Like, obviously you can see I carry 43 HE shells, and that's 99.9% of the time all I shoot out of this. So if you saw any heat shots or AP shots, that was a complete accident. We got some splash damage there. We did 1,277 damage. Like I said, nothing to write home about. I just wanted to get this replay out and review before the new patch gets released tonight. We got hit 5 times, 3 pen, 2 mounts for 840 damage bounced. Damage 3, destroyed 1, and damage with our assistance was 280. And like I said, to lose 5,294 credits, all I can think of is I must have screwed up and bumped my heat shells or something. But yeah, so anyways, if you enjoyed that match or that review, if you liked it, please hit the click the like button down below. It's getting late. And subscribe to the channel. You guys take it easy, be safe, and I will see you on the battlefield. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. So, I know you see a lot of reviews of Tier 10s and Type 5 Heavies that go through and just decimate the enemy team, and a lot of people don't like the Type 5 Heavy because it's overpowered and whatnot. But I guess this is a match that I was actually really lucky that it has the armor that it does and the gun that it does, because I ended up coming over to the city over here, like the FG area 0, and our team doesn't go up the 4 roads, so they have a lot of tanks right up along this 4 line shooting in at me into the city. Excuse me. I really didn't get much help in the city. I was kept hitting 5, which I was set up for help. And really, I think we had a couple people come like over here. They were trying to stay low so they could get shots over here on the 4 road. But Yeah, at first the enemy team was kind of walking all over us, so it was a good thing that I made it into the city. We had a couple heavies stay up here. You know, it's irritating when you have heavies and they just don't even leave cap. I ended up getting I apologize. I just got a new headset, and I forgot to set up the microphone, and I did a recording of the after action with all the things. I ended up getting an ace tanker and just a plethora of awards, and I ended up getting a steel wall, a brothers in arms because I teamed up with somebody at the very end of the match, and a high caliber. And once I shut the game off to do the recording part, which is a replay basically, I lose all the after game stats. So unfortunately I did lose that, so I was kind of bummed out because it had just a butt ton of awards. But let's go ahead and get this match going. I do like what Wargaming did with this map right here, and they did it on the other side too. Back here we got a line of trees and some bushes, and it's a dip. And it used to be that there was no dip there, and if you went this way in a super heavy like this, or the moss or whatever, it's so slow, by the time you would even get close to halfway across, you were lit up and just getting pounded and be dead before you even made it across that open area. And same with the other side over here. If you took off and went this way in the cap, it was the same thing, but they did the same thing, and they made a dip over there. And turn the volume down on this a little bit so I can hear. Sorry, just trying to figure this headset out still. So I'm trying to get behind the GW Tiger, and he just keeps reversing. You know, don't hold up and wait a second until I can get by and push against me and slow both of us down. But anyway, so I decide to shoot over here, and you know, we've got this IS-3 who I think was AFK at first. Then he stays up at the cap. I'm not even sure if he really even got off cap too much. You know, it does look like we have a bunch of guys coming into the city, and I'm like, cool, we're going to get a lot of guys into the city. And then I think they either head back over towards the cap, or they stay in these buildings right down in here, and they don't come up over to the main part of the city to help. So I end up getting kind of stuck up there by myself, and it really kind of sucks when you don't get any help. And that's why I was saying, you know, a lot of people hate the Type 5 Heavy because they feel it's overpowered, and it is, you know, got good armor and whatnot, but it still has weak spots. I mean, it's got the driver's port, it's got the gunner's port. If it's on an angle, it's got these flat spots here. So it makes it almost impossible to try side scraping, because then people just shoot you right through those angles there. On the turret, it's got the turret cheeks, the commander's hatch, it's got a real flat front end, so it's not impermeable to enemy fire. So as you can see, we got a light tank up here and a medium, and they just kind of hold back, and then they just say, yep, we're out of here, and they take off and pretty much leave me up here by myself. Which, you know, on the light tank, in his defense, I wouldn't have stuck around here either. The T-44-100, being that he's half dead, I would have probably got the hell out of Dodge too. But we see these guys, they get them lit up, I get lit up, and I'm like, okay, time to get pulled forward, because I didn't want to get hit by Artie or all 50,000 vehicles that are setting up along here, and that, you know, vehicles that you can't see. So we start taking some nice shots into the T-10, and there's an Action X up there, and I think a Centurion, Action X, I thought there was something else, T-10, Centurion, Action X, and something else. Oh, Progetto 46. And you can see when I pull up here, the T-10 is hitting me with HE. I don't know why the hell you would shoot HE at this thing. That's just plain dumb. It's got just tons of armor. So right now it's basically myself, a medium, a light, and this T-25 stayed down here. And they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 5 or 6 tanks here. So we hit the Progetto 46 for 692, and the problem that I run into is every time I back up too far, I get hit by everything over here, because I'm still lit. See it right there, 4202 just put one in my butt right here. So you really got to watch out you don't back up too far, but you don't want to go too forward too much, because then you get hit by artillery. So right now it's me, myself, and I. And that T-10 again shot me with HE for all of 28 damage. See, the Centurion Action X had a brain, and he shot me with AP round for 400, and now the T10 hits me another 89. I don't know why he was shooting HE. That's just plain stupid, to be honest with you. I mean, that gun is great on the T10. He would have been able to go through me pretty much anywhere he wanted to, and I'm confused why he was shooting HE. But whatever, each their own. So basically, right now it's me, myself, and I against 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about six tanks here, and the M41 Bulldog is getting out of there, which I don't blame him. I would have too. Why stick around so you can just get butt raped? Oops, didn't have my. I hit it on the other view, so it wasn't even aimed at him where I was actually aimed. So now, what these tanks really should have done is probably just, yeah. See, that Centurion Action X is just pounding me with heat. It did bounce that one, but that one went through, that one went through. I think he knocked my track off there. Which, when I come up against Type 5 heavies, yeah, I'll shoot heat too. You know, it's what it takes to go through these things. But he's going through me, and he's going through the weak spots, like right there. He could have went through me right there with AP rounds, no problem, I would imagine. But the T10, I don't know what he was thinking shooting HE at this. That's just plain stupid. It's got so much spaced armor, basically it's going to hit, and it's going to do 28 damage like he was doing. That's just plain stupid. But anyway, so I'm here by myself. I'm getting absolutely no help. The IS-3 is, you know, I mean, these rounds are just coming in. I got hit by artillery, hit by the Action X again, and we take the Action X out. T10 is whatever. He's probably still shooting HE at me. But yeah, this is where I enjoy playing a tank that's got good armor, and even though people, oh, it's overpowered, if this didn't have the armor that it did in the gun that it has, I would have been so screwed here, because I mean, it's literally, I'm by myself. I have no help. I do take a shot here. I leave him with 55 hit points. He takes a shot, and I think he dunks it into the dirt. Yeah, he dunked it into the dirt. I go to take a shot here in a minute to finish him off. I think I dunk it in the dirt. But I wanted to make sure I backed up far enough. Now that Pershing, what he should have done is actually come up and flanked me if he could have. But he stayed up over here, and we actually take him out in a minute. So I take a snapshot. I didn't wait long enough. I shoot the dirt, which I was kicking myself for. And then he turns around and shoots the dirt himself. So this time I thought, you know, I dunked it into the dirt that time. I'm not doing it again. So I wanted to wait till I had a nice shot to where I knew I was going to hit him. And we were able to just to clip the front end of him there and take him out. Even if we would have just hit the building there on the corner, it probably would have taken him out, because he only had 55 hit points. So, but we're up to 3,775 damage, and it's not over yet. And you can see the IS-3 is still sitting over there. Didn't even get off cap. That player is kind of a crappy 551 WN8. So he's not anything, you know, spectacular, but he's also not a dud. So we take out that Pershing. I think that's what that was. Yeah, the Pershing, where, well, like I was saying, the Pershing could have probably snuck down here and came up behind me and flanked me, but he didn't. He stayed right here. He was probably getting shots at the T95. Figured he was going to get as much damage as he could, and ended up getting himself killed because I rolled up here and shot him in the side. This T-44, with him being lit, I go to shoot. I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me. Just as I get to where I can get a shot at him, he goes invisible. So I figured, to hell with it. I'll take a blind shot. Maybe I'll hit him. Maybe I won't. I don't think I hit him. So they still have a lot of tanks with a lot of health. So it's not over till the fat lady sings, I'll tell you that. And especially when I pop up over here in a minute, and I think it was their Tier 9 light tank comes in front of me, and he's full health. Yeah, right here. Hasn't even been touched yet. Hit him for 607. He hits me and bounces. Now, the only fear I had is artillery setting. Pause it real quick. I had a fear that artillery was setting right back here, and he was going to be able to just lob one on me if I went this way, but not 100% where he's at. If I go down this way, he could get shots over in here, so you got to be real careful where you decide to go. So basically, I thought I'm going to come back here and just kind of see if I can go unlit, and then put push forward and see if we can take out that Tier 9 light tank there. I pop around the corner here, and lo and behold, there's a full health, I think it was full health Panther 88. So we hit him for 530 and just keep backing up. And like I said, I was real worried that now that WZ is going to come flank me here. And artillery hits me. So that is telling me artillery is definitely straight over there, which that's a good thing because now I know where he's at. So we take out the Panther 88, and I figure I need to get, well, I figured that WZ was going to flank me, and I was going to back, try and back up as quick as I can going through those buildings. And then I figured I'm going to hold still, go unlit, and then I could go help try and get rid of this 132A. And that's where I shot one of the guys at Invite because he had 3 kills. So I was going to help him take that out. The IS-3 actually did finally come over here after sitting at the cap the whole time almost. And now all they have left is their artillery. And I knew he was sitting right over here somewhere because I just got hit by him from in that direction. He'd have been smart if he would have waited and sat still, but he took off, and we were able to hit him, plug him, and take him out for 5,772 damage, and we blocked 2,660, and we had 1,759 assisted damage. So not too shabby of a run. And we had all of 109 hit points left when it was all said and done. Now, to be honest with you, if that T10 would have been shooting me at the beginning with heat or AP and doing 300 and 400 damage per hit versus 28 damage per hit, I probably would have lasted as long as I did, and I probably would have been dead a little bit ago. But with him shooting, for whatever reason, more than likely, that's with his WN8, he probably thinks, oh, well, I don't know. He's in a T10. He's got to know that heat really doesn't, or HE shells don't do good against certain tanks, and this would be one of them. But the simple fact is, like when I first started playing tanks, and, I remember I had my KV5, and I looked at the penetration. I'm looking at 167. Wow, that sucks. Oh, but, and it does, well, not really the penetration, but the damage. I'm like, oh, that only does 300 damage per hit, where this one does, like, almost 500 damage per hit, and I didn't know the penetration values and all that stuff. So I would go driving around with a loadout full of HE shells in my Type 5, or KV5, and hitting stuff and doing 30 damage and 60 damage, and sometimes I get lucky and do 200 damage, and I'm like, oh, I don't understand it. Why does this stuff say it can do up to that much damage? And then, that's when somebody explained to me, well, you got this penetration and blah, 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 blah. And then I figured it out. I'm like, well, crap, I don't want to use those. That's all I can think. The T10 thought maybe that, he's going to do more damage with those HE shells versus the APA or the heat shells that he could have been shooting at me and probably easily penetrating me with. So, yeah, that kind of did me a favor in the long run, but really sucked throughout the whole match that I was pretty much by myself on this corner, just holding off whatever I could, and there was several tanks obviously rolling up on me, but ended up getting a win out of that and shot this guy in the AMX AC-48 a quick invite so that we both got our brothers in arms. So yay. Anyways, if you enjoyed the battle, please click the like button down below and subscribe to the channel. And like I said, sorry about losing the post-game stats, but I just got this new mic and I hope it sounds good. My other headset was crapping out on me. It was a wireless headset, and it had an adapter in the back of it that I stepped on, and I super glued it in, but unfortunately it would go loose and not work at all, so I had to replace it. So anyways, you guys take it easy, be safe, and I will see you on the battlefield.